Welcome to the Show Me the Way podcast. I am your host, Andrea Miller, and I'm so excited to bring this show to you. Show Me the Way is a podcast dedicated to exploring the journeys of those who have faced adversity and found themselves on unexpected paths. We will have meaningful, thoughtful conversations about challenges we have faced and how we discovered and forged new direction. Prepare to be inspired and to uncover your own strength as you listen to relatable and motivating stories. Life has a way of twisting and turning, and we often need a fresh perspective to understand how to navigate. Let's show each other the way. Welcome back to the Show Me the Way podcast. So, listeners, today you are just going to listen to my voice. We are almost to Christmas, almost to the new year. And yes, I've got some amazing guests lined up for the new year. I didn't have anyone this week, so I decided why not pop in and give a reflection on season 2 and just start with a thank you to all of my loyal listeners. So, thank you so much for following the Show Me the Way podcast. I am so blessed to have all of you here. And those that are listening for the first time, thank you for checking it out. I hope you love it. And we'll look forward to listening to some interviews with me and my beautiful guests in the future. Mark it in your library, make it a show that pops up. I try to drop a new episode every single week. And so far, I've been very fortunate to be able to do that. I did it for an entire season. Season 1, we had 52 episodes, many wonderful guests, men, women, all ages, and also a couple of reflections where I looked back and gave some short thoughts on some previous episodes. So, amazing season 1. Came right into season 2, starting in September. And we've had 15 episodes so far with some awesome guests, including my sister, one of my best friends, some people that I hadn't met before, and some people that I've known for a long time. So it's been really great. If you're liking what you're hearing, if you like today's episode, please go back and listen to some of the others. A lot of the titles will give you an indication, but as soon as you open the episode, there's a full write up so you understand what the episodes are about. Most of us can gain perspective. We can resonate with probably all of the guests in some way, even if we haven't been exactly through what they've been. So I really appreciate you listening and sharing with others. If you have been listening and you haven't left a review, I would love for you to do that. It's just going to help me grow and reach more listeners. So you can either do that if you're listening on Apple, there's a way to rate it. If you go to the show, not necessarily the individual episode, go to the show, scroll down, you'll see a place for leaving a review and a rating, and I would appreciate it so much. I also really like to promote my website, which is andreamiller.co. It has all of the episodes there, and there's an easy way for you to leave a review there as well. So I would encourage you to do that, and I appreciate you taking the time for that. So yeah, reflection on season 2, 15 awesome episodes. And what's been very interesting, if you've noticed, if you've been listening, we've really focused on the importance of community and village and the people that are there for you through the challenges and adversity that you face. In season 1, most all of the episodes contain this topic. And yeah, not everybody has been through major medical crises, but even if they've moved to another town, even if they switched jobs, if they've dealt with grief, any kind of challenge or adversity, it's always the same. There was somebody or a group of people or a Facebook group that helped this individual get through the difficult time or get through the change. And it just kept coming up. And so it really resonated with me. And I thought for season 2, I will make sure I ask all of the guests to talk about a time in their life where they relied on community or a village. And what's funny is if you're like me, it's very difficult to ask for help. A lot of our guests will say that. But there are so many people that cross our paths, and a lot of times they want to help. So, not only are you getting the help that you need during a difficult time or a challenging time, you are also helping somebody else because they want to support you. They want to give back. Maybe you did something for them when they had a tough time, and so they want to help you. So, I love the conversation surrounding community and village, and I just think it's so important. Some of the episodes that I want to reflect on talk a lot about this. So, not too long ago, I was so fortunate, so blessed to have my sister on. So I have two sisters. Many of you know I'm the middle of three. And my little sister, she's 3.5 years younger than me. Not so much younger, but just a little bit. We were pretty close in age. I finally convinced her to be a guest, and it was probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite episodes, just because it was so fun to talk with her and we have such good rapport. But she's been through quite a bit. So, yes, like I said, we don't all deal with medical diagnoses or things like that, but she did go through 3 marriages and 3 divorces. And she had a couple of kids along the way, my beautiful niece and my awesome nephew. These things really took a toll on her mental thought process, on her emotional thought process, and she is somebody that is pretty tough, likes to handle things on her own, definitely doesn't wanna ask for help. She's very independent, she always has been. She wants to be able to take the bull by the horns. If she's got a problem, she's gonna go deal with it directly, and she tried to do that with her marriages. "I'm going through a divorce, I've got this, I have it figured out, I don't really need much support." So, I won't say that she turned to her family. She didn't really turn to us when she went through these times. She didn't say, "I need my family, I have to be around my family." She lives in another state from all of us, my older sister and my parents and me. And so she just kind of handled things on her own. And I'm not saying she didn't do a good job doing that because she always got through her challenging times and came out with a new focus on life. She is one of the most hardworking women I've ever known. She always works. She's a physical therapist. She did own a restaurant. So she has always been pretty self sufficient. Going, going, going. Soon after her last divorce, she was able to get into her own home. Didn't really count on her family for that much. But she has done a lot of reflection. And the episode that we shared together, she really talked about the perspective that she has gained and how she's really learned to own what she's been through and to move forward in a more positive light and try to change the outcome of how things are going. So she's in a really great relationship. She's very, very happy right now. She owns her own house, like I said. She's working very hard. She's enjoying time with friends. She's creating a really good relationship between herself and her kids. She doesn't see her son as often as she would like, as he spends the majority of his time with his dad, but she's trying to work on that. She sees her daughter all the time. Her daughter's getting ready to go away to school, so she's trying to focus on their time and taking advantage of that. She's going to church services. So she's really trying to, once again, grab the bull by the horns, but also do it in a new light. And I couldn't be prouder of her.
If you feel like something is not right in your life or something is not settling right or you're going through, relationships or maybe mental or physical abuse or you just don't feel right in your gut about something, maybe it's not your family that you want to talk to, but find somebody, whether it's a therapist, a friend, person you go to church with, somebody you don't even know. Find someone to talk to about it because you don't want to be spinning on that hamster wheel your whole life, not knowing how to live a better life. When you finally get to whether, my focus has been on relationships this most of this conversation, but whatever it is in your life, you want to be the best at it that you can possibly be. And we all want to live lives that are happy and we all want to be happy.
She talked a lot about a village. So, like I said, she didn't really turn to her family, but now she's understanding how much more important it is. And I will say, over the last year, she and I have talked way more than we had in recent years. So, it's been wonderful. She has really gotten better at reaching out to our parents. She, like I said, is dating someone who's helped her get through a lot of things and given her a lot of great perspective. She's trying to really, like I said, improve her relationships with her kids. She's just owning things, and it's real impressive. So, I love that. She did talk a little bit about talking to a therapist and learning some things from that. She's got a couple of really, really good friends that have stood by her side over the last couple of years. So, I will say that the village and the community of people she has recognized is becoming more and more important. So, I really wanna celebrate that. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen. It's with my sister, Tony Thorne. It is a great episode, and it was pretty exciting to understand her positive outlook going forward on life. Recently, the episode I just dropped was with one of actually Tony's friends. Her name is Diane Karras. This was the one I just dropped last week. So, again, a referral. I don't know Diane very well. Got introduced to her. I've seen her before as she was the officiant for my sister Tony's last wedding. And I didn't really meet her then, but I did get to listen to her words. And so I said, oh, she would be a great person on the show. And Tony said she has quite the story. So I invited her to be a guest. She was very open to it. And, she talked about a community of people, a village of people the whole time. She talked about all her struggles as a kid. She talked about foster care, being adopted, creating a relationship later in life with her biological parents. She talked about marriages and divorces, many different jobs, living all over the country, children, being part of the Kiwanis Club, so much. And every time she talked, she couldn't help but mention the importance of being surrounded by people that helped her get through her difficult times or her challenging times. She also talked about a therapist. So I really appreciated her perspective on needing to talk to others, needing to communicate with others, needing to be surrounded by others. We were just not meant to do this life alone. I strongly believe that. I've said that numerous times on the podcast. I don't think God created the human race for us to just sit in our bedrooms and not speak to anyone else. I really do think we need to turn to people, and Diane spoke a lot about that.
When and it doesn't matter where you find, but never join something to get, only join to give. Our giving has got to be, and we recognize that all of our getting in life comes from our giving, but it can't be giving to get. It's got to be totally altruistic, giving because I want to make a difference. I want to help someone. When we get to give, we get. I had a young woman in my life who I adore. She's an honorary child. She went through a similar kind of ministry experience, and they didn't give her what she needed. And so she changed direction and she needed a place to stay. And I said, I've got a guest suite. And we got to be together for about 8 months. And now that girl is part of my family. And she helps me feel safe because there's nothing she won't do to make sure that I'm okay. I wasn't looking to get anything from her. I just saw someone I could relate to who'd been through a similar experience.
The next episode I really want to reflect on is my friend Corey Gill. Please, please, please go listen to that episode, especially before Christmas. Christmas is coming up this week. And if you're anything like Corey and like me, and like so many of us, you get a little bit of anxiety. Corey talked about panic attacks and having some anxiety, having a situation happen over the summer that she had never had happen before, and so many tips and tricks to try to help her on the path to recovery and to healing. Corey and I have known each other since preschool, so very long relationship. Went to grade school together, played sports together, kind of lost touch in high school, saw her at a hospital job where she and I both worked. Didn't really talk to her much then, but knew she was there. Lost touch a little bit over the adult years and then connected through Facebook. We have followed one another over the last couple of years.
And I feel like with anxiety gives you, like, you want to isolate when you're anxious. You don't want to be around people. You are scared to be around people because you're scared of if you're going to panic and make a fool of yourself, or, if you're going to pass out and, you're just nervous to be around people. And I just kind of figured out, even though I'm nervous to be around people, I need them. Like, I need to be able to talk to them. Like, talking about it, like you said, it's therapeutic. It is therapeutic to talk about it. And that's one of the reasons I did start talking about it, because it was a bit selfish in a way, because it helps me to talk about it and it helps other people too. So it made me feel good that I was helping other people, but it was also helping me to talk about it and get it all out there, and just being around your friends and knowing that your friends accept you for who you are. My family accepts me for who I am, knowing I don't always have to be this tough exterior. I can be like, oh, I'm having a bad moment, and they'll be like, oh, okay, let's talk about it, or let's go out to dinner and talk about it, or take your mind off of it. It's just, you have to have those people in your corner.
Corey is such a strong person. She puts this strong exterior out there. She has been through quite a bit. She has always been somebody who had a thick skin and went after what she wanted and was very good about working hard to get there. Well, this panic attack certainly made her spiral out of her own control. She didn't know what to do with that because she's used to this tough person that can handle anything that comes her way. So I like that she was vulnerable about what she had been through because so many of us can relate to that. And I go back to saying it's a great time because when the holidays are here, if you're anything, like I said, if you're anything like us, the food needs to be right. The invites need to go out. The tables need to be set. Grocery lists need to be created. We're decorating, we're wrapping gifts. We want everything to be just so. We want to create memories for our entire family. It can be very difficult, especially if things aren't perfect. I often think of Christmas Vacation, where Clark really wants an old fashioned family Christmas, and one thing after the other. There are issues, there are unexpected happenings. A cousin he didn't know was showing up shows up. He decorated his entire house. The lights don't turn on. He got locked up in the attic one day and was freezing, had to put on old clothes from a bin that they had up there, was watching old movies, and then somebody opens the attic fan and he falls, and who knows what kind of injury he could have had there. He didn't get the bonus that he was expecting. The turkey did not turn out like it was supposed to turn out. So that is quite the extreme, but so many of us can relate. We have so many plans and we think everything is going to be so perfect. And when it's not, we feel very let down. And I'm not saying that Corey really had all of those exact feelings, but just a feeling of anxiety or a feeling of I had plans and it's not going the way that I expected them to go. We can all relate to that. I would strongly encourage you to go listen to her episode because, like I said, she's got a couple of good techniques. Again, getting back to the village, she talked about her very supportive husband, her kids, how great her boss was, her amazing Orange Theory family. So she works out all the time at Orange Theory, got very close to that community, and they were there for her when she needed it, all of her amazing coworkers. She talked about what she found online. She talked about a community on Facebook that helped her. So again, going back to the importance of asking others for help, seeking help, looking for direction, looking for support. Somebody's probably been through what you've been through. Please don't ever think that you are alone in what you're going through because I promise you, you're not. So I would definitely love for you to listen to that episode. And another episode that I really want to reflect on from season 2 is one with one of my best friends, Alicia Schweitzer. Please go back and listen to that as well. I cannot believe I got her to do an interview. Not that she's nervous or has a difficult time speaking through all that she's been through, but because she is one of the busiest people I've ever met. I call her superhero mom. I don't think she's a real person because she only needs about 3 to 4 hours of sleep. She has 3 boys, 2 of which are in high school. The other is in middle school. She has a very active middle child who's involved in tons of sports, including football, where he was double rostered in the fall for JV and varsity. Her husband has a very busy job. Sometimes he goes into the office, sometimes he travels, sometimes he's home. She's got a very rambunctious dog that needs some attention. She has a sister who doesn't live in the same state. So her mom is living by herself and often needs support from Alicia. They are very close to her husband's family. So she's often feeling like she wants to be with them or needs to support them. And they've got younger kids. So she's always around to provide joy for them. She is a hairdresser who has pretty much stopped doing that. She does not go to a salon anymore, but she does treat and serve many people out of her house, including family. She is very involved in nonprofit work. She is also going back to school to be a nurse. And the big thing that she focused on was the fact that her youngest son has many different diagnoses. She calls him a medically complex child, which I can relate to. She has all kinds of things going on with him. Ever since he was a baby, he had allergies to food. And then he had some other things come up throughout the years. He's 10 now, but every couple of months or so, it seems to be another diagnosis or another blood test to check something else or another appointment to meet with a new doctor to see if it's something else. She and her son and her husband do not have all the answers. They truly don't know everything that's going on with him. She finally was able to give an hour. I still don't know how she gave an hour, but it is a beautiful episode. She shares how she keeps it all together. She's one of the most joyful people, one of the most positive people I've ever met. She talks about how she has handled things so far and just how much faith she has. But also, we go back to the community and the village. Now, she's a little more stubborn on asking for help. We have to remind one another often to seek out help and to take it when it's offered. But she has a wonderful family who is around. She has a mother-in-law who is able to care for the kids or go to appointments with their younger son. She has a very supportive husband. Between the two of them, they figure it all out. They're very, very, very busy schedule. She's got a lot of really great friends and some of the best neighbors. She moved a few years ago, and it just was a great move for them because she has so many people just within her own neighborhood that are very helpful with her kids. And it has just been a godsend that she has that. Although we are both part of a Bible study, and you've heard a couple of those Bible study members on this podcast from season 1, she hasn't been able to attend the Bible study sessions in quite some time based on the schedule I just laid out for you. But she does have this group of prayer warriors that are always praying for her, and she knows that and she prays back for them. So go back, listen to her episode because again, she talks about dealing with this medically complex child and all of their hospital visits, all of his pokes and prods and everything that little guy has had to go through. But she has such wonderful positive perspective. And again, just the importance of leaning on people when you need to. And just also being positive and taking one day at a time and recognizing a lot of the same things that my husband and I try to do when it comes to our family and Nathan. So I would love for you to go back and listen to Alicia's episode as well. You said you have 2 older boys
Mhm.
and you're living life with these 2 guys. And
Yeah,
yeah,
all this
parenting's hard, but things are going the way you would have expected, right?
great. Everything's fine. Everything is great, easy. Let's have one more child. And then all of a sudden, you're just dealt with these things you could never imagine facing. And as you go through it, people say, I don't know how you do it. I could never do it. But when you're dealt with it, you just do it and you handle it and you pray for the strength that you need and you somehow get there and you end up building a community and finding a community and realizing who your community is along the way. And there's so much to be said about, finding that support and just growing in this journey.
There are so many more episodes. If you go back to season 1, if you look into season 2, I think every single person has a story. Everybody has a story. It does not have to be about a medically complex child. It does not have to be about grief. Although I will say that another very important episode to listen to is one with my friend Christina Whitner. She talks about grief. She talks about the importance of therapy, which again goes back into my village and needing the community and the fact that we can't do any of this alone. She talks about her very best friend had a terminal cancer diagnosis and really shut down, did not rely on people like Christina wished she would have. She felt that she lost her best friend while her best friend was still living, and then she went through the whole grieving period again when her friend actually did pass away. She really regards therapy for allowing her to get to where she is today. And she even recognized that being on this podcast was like therapy for her as well.
Very difficult. I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to see anybody. I saw I was shutting myself off from the world. But with the help of therapy, I realized I couldn't do that because I wasn't helping myself, and Tina would not have wanted that for me. And so I still am having trouble putting myself out there, but I'm doing much better than I was with the help of therapy. I don't know what I've done if I would not. And therapy started well before Tina passed
Okay.
because I needed to deal with the grief. And because I was grieving, I learned I was grieving before she passed.
Well,
Because I
right.
was grieving the friendship that I had, the person that I knew, because she was no longer that person anymore.
Right. Yeah. So it's double.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be about something that another guest spoke on. It can be any time that you thought your path looked like one thing and you needed to take a right instead of a left. You needed to pivot. You needed to completely change what you thought was happening. That can happen with a birth plan. That can happen with a job plan. your 5 and 10-year plan that I no longer believe in. Diane talked about that as well. It can be any challenge or time in your life where it just didn't look like the picture you had. And I want to know what your perspective was. What did you learn? What advice can you give to others when they deal with similar types of changes? And who was your community, your village? Now, again, you don't have to be someone like me who needs hundreds of people and all these different groups. I'm a complete extrovert. If you're an introvert and you don't like to be around tons and tons of people, it could be one person. It could be relying on your husband. It could be relying on your therapist. It could be relying on your best friend. As long as you know that you're not meant to go through any of this alone and that you are not alone, I think that's the most important part. So as we go into the holiday season, I really want you to remember that. I really want you to understand that you're not alone. People are going through things just like you are. We all need to take one day at a time. Tomorrow is not promised. We don't know what's happening tomorrow, but we do know that we can't control any of the future. The only one who can control anything is God. He has a plan for all of us, and I strongly believe that. However, we can work on ourselves so that we understand that more, so that we listen for it, we look for it, and we try to get through challenging times or times that our path look different in a more positive way and a more perspective-driven way as well. So with our family this holiday season, getting back to Christmas vacation, we're kind of like that. I'm very close to my family. I love having people around us. I told my group of soccer mom friends the other day that if it were up to me, everybody I know would be at my house for Christmas. In the morning, we'd all wake up and celebrate with one another and have a big old brunch and just enjoy time together because I love being around people. My whole family is coming in town. My parents are here right now from Florida. My older sister and her significant other are staying with us for a few days. My little sister, Tony, that I just talked about, she just came in yesterday and spent the night just to have some additional time with us. She'll be back on Christmas Day. And on Christmas Day, I'm having 25 plus people over for dinner. So excited about that. On Christmas Eve, I'm having 10 people for dinner, including my in-laws, and I'm really excited to have time with them. So I'll be surrounded by the people that I love most over the next few days, and I feel very blessed about that. If you are the same, if you feel like, wow, there are going to be so many people at my house over the next few days, and you start to feel this panic or this sense of overwhelm, first of all, go listen to Corey's episode again and take some of her techniques, but just breathe and take a moment and be grateful for your blessings. When you stop and you say, thank you, God, for the blessings that you have, it just really puts things into perspective immediately. Over the last, I would say 4 years, 5 years, I've really tried to improve my relationship with God, but it's more so, I would say, over the last year. And I try to pray every day and to at least say thank you. And again, back to Diane, she talked about a gratitude journal. It's something she writes in every single day. I am grateful every day for the little things, the fact that I have a house to live in, the fact that I've got food to eat, but also grateful for the support and the love that I have around me. You all know that my younger son, Nathan, has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, the main reason I started this podcast. And we have a whole community of Nathan's Ninjas. You've heard me talk about that quite a few times if you've been listening. I feel so blessed that we've got this community of supporters anytime we need anything. And that makes me feel so happy and just brings joy to me. So I'm very grateful for things like that. I'm grateful for the fact that I can walk and I can take my dog for a walk and I can enjoy time outside. I'm grateful for my parents still being here. It might be difficult to have a lot of people in your house around the holidays, but I just feel very grateful that I do have what I have. And that's something that we all need to count on. So if you can remember a few things that you're grateful for, maybe be like Diane and write in a gratitude journal every single day. But even if it's a little thing, it really will give you perspective. And I'm not saying life is perfect. I'm not saying everybody is happy all the time. But when you do take a moment to think about one or two things that you're grateful for, it changes your perspective immediately. Trust me, Many people have told me to write things down, and I'm not very good at journaling, but it does make a difference when you remember the things that you're grateful for. So I will challenge you. If you're sitting there, you feel very overwhelmed this holiday season, just take a minute to say, wow, I'm grateful for this, or I'm grateful for that. And I promise it'll make a little difference. I'm not promising that you won't have a little anxiety. I'm not promising I won't. I'm going to put on some lavender oil. We can talk about what one of my guests, Lisa Dreco, talks about. Use those essential oils to calm me. I will definitely do that. But just one day at a time, one moment at a time, and try to just be grateful for what you have. I know many of you think about what you're grateful for all the time, but this is just a little reminder around the holiday season. It's a reminder for me too. So I'm very grateful. My son Nick is home with us from college. He's doing very well. He hasn't really stayed home much. He's seen a lot of his friends, which is wonderful, and his girlfriend, and I get that, but the few moments we've had with him have been great. Nathan, as many of you know, is doing very, very well, finishing up his first semester as a junior in high school. We have one more semester left of this year and then senior year, and then he's done with high school. I'm trying not to have a lot of overwhelm about that. I'm grateful that he's doing so well in school. His grades are great. He goes to many sporting events. He's part of the radio station, and he really is thriving. And he's still really funny and so fun to be around. And he shares perspective with me every single day in his actions, in his words, in his smile. Ryan and I, we're doing well. Ryan feels a lot of pressure to support all of us all the time. He's got a very tough job. He's extremely busy, and that can stress him out. But I'm hoping he can take a few moments to be grateful over the next few days and find some joy and have a very positive new year. We've got a lot of other great positive things happening. My older sister's deciding what she's going to do in the new year. My niece in Ohio is graduating and going to college. My cousin's son is graduating and going to college. There's going to be a lot of positive things that happen in 2026. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to many more guests. And I just thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. You have helped me continue to move forward with this podcast. I get so much good feedback. I would love more. If you want to go ahead and leave a review, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, I have so much support and so much love around me. I'm looking forward to future real estate success in 2026 and people trusting me to help them with their goals and their needs. And I'm looking forward to more things to be grateful for in 2026. So I hope the same for all of you. Again, life is not perfect. I know it's not perfect over here either. Like I said, we're Christmas vacation, but we each have stories to share. We each have advice to share, perspective to give. We also have things we can be grateful for. I pray that all of you are able to spend time with family and friends and enjoy whatever you've got going on. And I really do hope you continue to listen to those that are showing us the way and that maybe you decide you would like to show us the way as well. I look forward to future conversations, to a lot more positivity. And like I said, go out, find things to be grateful for. And thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Here's to a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hoping to have one more episode before the year ends, which would be next week. So look out for that. But again, I hope 2026 brings a lot of joy.
You know, life has a funny way of reminding us that we can't plan for everything, but we can prepare for what matters most. That's why I'm so thankful for today's sponsor, Tammy Brown Insurance Agency. Tammy and her team don't just sell policies, they build relationships. Whether you're protecting your home, your car, or your family's future, Tammy takes the time to really listen and find coverage that fits your life. As a mom, a homeowner, and a Michigander, I love knowing that I've got someone local in my corner who actually cares, not just about my insurance, but about my peace of mind. So if you've been putting off checking your coverage, take this as your sign. Call Tammy Brown Insurance Agency or visit the Tammy Brown Agency Facebook page and tell them the Show Me the Way podcast sent you. Because when life takes a turn, it helps to have someone who can show you the way back to security. Thank you for joining me for the Show Me the Way podcast. I truly appreciate you tuning in to today's episode about overcoming adversity and finding your path. I hope it brought you new insights, empowered you with perspective, and inspired you to find joy in your journey. If this episode touched your heart, don't forget to leave a quick review, as it will help us reach and motivate more people. Until next time, keep seeking the light and showing the way.